Hi everyone! Welcome back to the studio for this week's episode of Tutorial Tuesday. I'm so excited to have you here with me in the studio. I thought we would do a really beautiful big mountain scene with some lovely reflections and just some very bold color schemes going on. If you'd like to paint along with me, be sure to check the description below for the paint list, and let's jump right up to the canvas. I have my standard 18-inch by 24-inch canvas, and it's been prepped with a thin, even coat of liquid white, and it's ready to go. I'm gonna grab my big old 1-inch brush, 2-inch brush. That was nice. The big one. And we're gonna start out with some big color in the sky. I'm gonna go right into the Prussian blue and get a lot of that on the brush. Good bit of blue, and then get some midnight black also. We're gonna mix those two right on the brush. Just kind of tap into it. Make sure that it gets evenly distributed. And we'll start on the top. A little bit more midnight black in there, I think. A little bit more blue. We want a nice and dark scene up here. And we're going to start working some of that down just lightly. And we'll get some of that into the bottom as well. Nice and thick black and blue. All right, let's pick up a 1-inch brush, and we're going to go into some titanium white and Indian yellow. And we're going to pop in some nice bright sunshine in here. Good bit of Indian yellow. Now we'll go into the yellow ochre. And now we'll do yellow ochre, Indian yellow, bright red. We're going for kind of an orange. Now, bright red and alizarin crimson on the same dirty brush. Just mix right into that. And we try not to pick up too much blue. I'll just get some of this paint out here And we can allow it to start blending with a little bit of that blue-gray. And now I'm even going to pick up a touch of that blue-gray from the palette and use it right over here. Same dirty brush, nothing special here. We're just conditioning the canvas, getting all of our colors on so we can get some harmony. Let us just pick up our big brush that we were using earlier, and we'll soften a little bit more. We still got some paint. We're kind of darkening it a little bit. Now let's pick up some crimson, and we're going to work in a little bit of this to the sky as well. Kind of get a little bit of a lavender going on in the sky, just a touch of it. It's just going to darken that corner and bring a little bit of warmth into the color. Nice. Let's be sure that we add that down below. Right, pick up a nice clean 2-inch brush. We're just going to start right in this nice light area here. I'm going to pick up a touch of titanium white, just the tiniest bit. Just work it right in there. Now we're going to work these colors together into a nice soft line there. And we'll soften the bottom a little bit here. Let's do some little clouds. Just use this 1-inch brush. Go into some titanium white, bright red, and alizarin crimson. A little bit more crimson. We'll start a little darker first. And let's kind of dance in some clouds right in here. A little bit more. Just play a little bit and get some colors to come off. Bright red and titanium white. Now we can use our blending brush. Whichever one is the cleaner one of the two of our big brushes. And we'll try and soften these out a little bit. ones down, and we're going to give these a nice little fluff. Nothing much. All right, now we'll pick up the fan brush and we'll give these some highlights. Let's go right into some liquid white, and we'll get this nice pink color that we created already. And with our liquid white in it, it'll brighten it up just a touch. Let's see if we can't dance in some highlights. We've got a sun nice and low in the horizon over here. Maybe it's just a beautiful sunrise coming up over the mountain, splashing its light on these clouds. Soften that out again. Blending brush. We just want to tickle some of that paint on the bottom. Soften it. Just tap those. Now, lift. Pull them out. Let's see about just a couple more. Maybe we've got some Indian yellow. Let's go into some of that. Let's just add in a few down here. Some movement. Just kind of tickle out those bottoms a little bit, soften them back. Blending brush, very careful here. We probably have some mud on the brush, so we don't want to get too much of that blue. Gotta be very careful. Nice. All right, now let's add just a few of these colors into our water down here. We're going to have these colors kind of reflecting into the water a little bit. Let's just soften that back. Ooh, I love it. All right, let's do, I think we'll just do a tiny bit more on these upper clouds up here because they're just a little too boring. Maybe just give them a little bit of a wiggle. Just a little bit more. Maybe there's just a little bit of morning wind. Fun. Now we're going to build us a cute little mountain. to do that, I'm going to use alizarin crimson, midnight black, and phthalo, or Prussian blue. Then we'll marble in some titanium white. We cut off a little roll of that paint, and we come right up to the canvas and pick out where our mountain is going to be. Ooh. No turning back now. Put that extra paint. We want all this paint really nice and crisp up at the top. And everything below, we can just scrape that out. Helps to push it into the canvas. Take our blending brush, soften out the bottom by always keeping the brush angled towards the top of your mountain. Then we just lift that up. Okay, let's mix up a highlight color and a shadow color. We're going to do it in 2 stages today. First, we'll take some of our cloud mixture and just set that, because it's thinned down, just get that out of the way. We'll use some titanium white, a little bit of bright red, and some alizarin crimson, and we're going to mix up a little bit of a reddish pink, a little bit darker on that. Nice. Now, let's mix up a shadow color with some titanium white and our mountain mixture. And we'll put in some more white over to that pile. Now, our light is coming from this left-hand side, so let's take our first highlight color and we're going to work it down on this side. A little bit on this one. Nice and simple. We'll do some shadows over here, and then we'll start to build this into a nice, awesome mountain. Pull those edges down. A little bit more highlight now. We'll mix up some more red. Let's get some crimson. Crimson and bright red. How we can take some of this pink and kind of pull it into our shadow side and pick out a couple little mounds. Grab these and pull them back. And right on top, we're going to do another highlight color, which we'll mix up with some titanium white, some of our bright reds, and some Indian yellow. Nice marbled sunshine color. We'll cut off a little roll of that, and we'll just pull this right over the top. Now on the shadow side, more titanium white and just a touch of our mountain blue color. And we'll just pop on a few accents up here. Get a little bit in here. Make sure we hit all of those shadows. Now, working in stages here. Let's mix up one final color with our white. And we want just a touch of our peach. Just the tiniest bit. Oh, let's do one tiny little bit, just a tiny little highlight. Oh yeah, that's the spot. I lied, I think I need to do one more right here. Nice. Okay, now soften this back very carefully. You just tap and lift. I'm actually taking this brush just lightly into this here and lifting, and it's softening and blending the bottom here. But if you go too crazy, you're going to find that you end up with paint marks all over here that you weren't expecting. So you've got to be careful. Always start down here where there's less paint. You can check if you're pulling anything or grabbing anything. And just like we do our water here, we kind of feather it up at the end. Just lift up, pull off the canvas, and you'll be able to soften that right out. Easy peasy. Now, let's work in a tiny little footy hill over here. I'm just going to go into some of this alizarin crimson on my dirty brush. I got a little bit of my blue and crimson. Let's go. We'll just tap in just as if this mountain was coming right down into these grassy hills here. Just work that right up. A little darker now. here we round this together. A little bit more crimson on this front. Now we can soften that out just a touch with our blending brush. Then we'll take our fan brush and throw in some lovely little highlights, bright red and Indian yellow, and liquid white. Then we'll just take this and we'll tap in some highlights over here. As the sun is just popping down on this top of this meadow. With a little bit more of our crimson, we'll just pick that up on the dirty brush and we'll build in a few colors over here. The crimson works well as a shadow color. Oops. Throwing my tools. It magically just reappeared in front of me. How cool is that? Thanks. Let's do a little tiny bit more highlight in here with a little more liquid white and Indian yellow. I want this to be more bright. There we go. Love it. Okay. Now, let's just that's just going to kind of mist out. Then we're going to work on some trees here. So we need to mix up a nice dark color. But just take what we've already mixed. The midnight black, Prussian blue, and alizarin crimson. Just pile those together. And I know I'm going to want a little bit more, so just get some out. For later. Now we'll take our fan brush and go into our dark. And we'll add a little bit of white, just a touch. And let's just start right over here. Tap and pull down. Always connecting them. Always connecting these so we don't have any gaps. We don't want gaps like this. That doesn't look good. So we always connect. I'll reload. Maybe we'll make this a touch higher over here. And we need a reflection. And we'll just kind of work this over this way. It's going to be a nice little hill. Kind of further out. Let's soften that with our blending brush. And we can just pull that down and across for our reflections. Now let's build in a little bit of light coming in on these over here with the fan brush. We'll just go into our little peach color that we made earlier. Kind of thin it down. And we'll just come up to the top of these on the left-hand side and tap in some of this white. Lift up from the bottom and it'll soften it a little bit there. Kind of pushes it back. And we're going to take our nice dark brown and create our shoreline out here. This is our dark blue, not brown. You knew what I meant. Just pressing up for some nice little fun shapes, different bushes out here, hanging out. Pull down some reflections. Let's mix up a little bit of alizarin crimson, bright red, midnight black. A nice little browny lavender kind of a color here for our shore. Bright red and midnight black makes such a fun brown red that you can play with in a lot of different hues. I think it's a really fun color. I'm just going to mix up a little bit of a light lavender over here. This is in the shadows. We don't want a lot of pop on it, but we do need something. We'll just pull that out and we'll take some of our dark and reflection. We just pull that down. And a little bit of color now on the shore. We'll just mix up a nice kind of a dark crimson peach. Crimson because it's a shadow, and because it's pretty. Look at how cute. I love playing with these colors when you have a nice sunset scene. You can pretty much go wild, sunset or sunrise, and the colors, they just kind of play, and when you've got water involved, you can just go crazy. So we're having fun with our colors today. We'll put a few down here in our reflection. Pull those out again. Now, with the palette knife, we'll get a little bit of liquid white, and we're going to go right into this lavender color again. I'm really liking this kind of purple that we made. I want to keep using it. So I cut off a little bit of that once we've thinned it onto our palette knife. And we'll scrub in our waterline. Just by cutting off that little roll of paint, we can make all kinds of things happen out here. What if we took some of our peach color too? That's nice. Oh yeah, this one is really fun. I'm having fun. It's so simple. I love just a simple mountain and tree scene. It just makes me so happy and so peaceful, and I could just feel myself sitting here on the edge, just looking at this sunrise and enjoying the day that's about to come. And we'll just put some more pine trees over here. And just tapping. I'm pressing up a little bit, but not too much. Just let the fan brush do what it wants. You go back and forth and work your way down. I think this one's going to be behind all these other ones. Make sure that you are always reloading once you start running out of that paint. You can definitely put in some little lighter ones. These are a little closer than this other tree line over here though, so we want more detail. Fun! And you can even add in a few more, just kind of throw them into the back. Now we want some reflections. We'll pull this down here, kind of to meet that. And I think I want one more right there. Oh, that was the perfect one. Perfect one in the perfect spot. Let's throw some stumpy stumps on there. I'm just going to use some of that nice little lavender color. It's kind of marbled with some white. Let's just keep it going. It's a fun color. That's our midnight black, bright red and alizarin crimson with a touch of titanium white. Makes such a fun color with all these purples and blues. Very nice. Throw in a few more, maybe some little branches coming off, some sticks and twigs. This is one of my favorite things to do on trees, is just throw in, before you do your highlight, some of these little sticks. And then you cover some of them up, but they still show. And it's a really, really kind of an important thing, because people will notice it and say, wow, look at all the time that you spent on those little tiny details. And then you can laugh and say, you know what, it wasn't really that much. But people don't understand. You can take a very long time and make something very perfect, or you can make it look like you took a long time and just have fun with it and not take 5 years to do one painting, because that's kind of slow. That's kind of boring for me. Some people really like it, but I don't. Okay, we'll put some highlights on these trees here. I'm going to use my fan brush that has some blue in it. We'll just pick up a little bit more blue until we get ourselves a nice fun green color over here. There we are. I'm liking that. Let's add our highlights down on the left-hand side. We'll start with our background trees, the one that are furthest away. And then we'll build up a little bit of liquid white, a little bit of Indian yellow, a little bit brighter. And if it's not sticking, thin your paint. Use your liquid white, use your brush wash, and thin your paint just enough so that you can get it to stick. I kind of want to get a little bit of like a gold on the top here, so let's go Indian yellow, bright red into our mix. That's nice. A little bit of liquid white again. And on the tops up here, let's just work in some of this nice bright color. I like it. Getting that sun. Now, a little bit more liquid white, and I'm going to get some bright red. Much more red now. That's nice. And we'll use this just on a few, give them a little bit of a fire top. Okay, let's do some of our shore red, alizarin crimson, midnight black, right over here. Ooh, I'm having so much fun painting this scene. I hope you all like it. It's definitely a very simple little mountain scene. Now you can't go wrong with something like this. I'm going to pick up a little bit more of a highlight color. This is kind of the color we were using on the mountains above. Now I'm just going to grab some of our rock color and marble it together. This one out here is going to be popping on the light. Not so much over here, but right in this area. Hitting that sun. Getting some pops. Oh yeah. Now some green. Blue. Indian yellow. We've got some green. And we'll make some grass. I want this a little bit more dark. Just a touch. There we go. Nice. Let's pull down some reflections. Go across. Cute. Sometimes it doesn't take much, and I just get so happy. This is why we paint, though. I'm going to mix up a nice bright something, peachy something, whatever this turns into. I like that. And I'm going to pop on a few more little highlights over here, kind of. Just little accents as they're getting kind of hit by the sun and shining in the light. So cute. Water line. Just cut off whatever is left from our other watercolor. We'll bring this around. And then we can take some nice and smooth. Right over here we need, what do we need? Let's do some pink. Have fun. We'll just scrape in some little sticks and twigs into some of these rocks, and we just kind of push some of those back. I think I'm done. That was a quick one today. I'm gonna fix up this whatever's going on down there. Get some of that softened. Soften this. I think I'll give it a signature. Let's do script liner. I need some red. Red. Where did I put it? Ha. Just some bright red script liner and some brush wash. And, ooh, gotta soften this. All right. Let's do over here. No. Why is it so hard sometimes? Figure out where I want to sign it. But, okay, over here. First choice. Sometimes I try and sort of hide my signature. This one's pretty much out there. But that's okay. All right, I'm all done with my painting here in the studio. I'm so glad that you were able to join me in the studio today. I would love to hear in the comments below what you thought about this painting. And if you'd like to give it a go, please send me an email, Kaylee@KayleeRakowski.com. I love seeing what you create and what my paintings inspire in you. It's really a thrill for my day. So please send me your pictures and let me know what you're up to. Until next week, smile and be happy, friends.